We've all been there. You're tired at the end of a long day. You're trying to lead a choir that feels chaotic. In this episode, I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Bethany Main. We're going to be talking about the foundation of fun and share our best tips for how to make your choir fun for both you and your students.
It's the Happy Music Teacher!
Are you an elementary music teacher who's frustrated and overwhelmed? I'm Jeanette, a happy music teacher who loves teaching every day, but it wasn't long ago I was in your shoes. Join me Wednesdays to help you find happy in your music classroom. I am so thrilled and excited to have Bethany Main, my friend and my colleague, back on the podcast. And we are going to talk about all the choir things today. And you have to listen till the end. We have a really big surprise for you at the end of this podcast. So make sure that you listen all the way through to the end. So I want to start out, Bethany, first by welcoming you and saying hello.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
I know, I'm so glad to have you back on. So I want you to tell us a little bit about, because I know you have kind of, I think, a unique perspective on running choir. And your choir, I've not been inside your choir room, but it feels like it would be very fun and engaging. And, I'd love to know more about how you approach it and what your personal philosophy is behind building an elementary choir.
Yeah, well, first of all, I try to think about it as the highlight of my day. I truly think it's such a gift as elementary music teachers when you see every student in the school. And there maybe are some who you haven't convinced to love music yet. But your choir is a place where kids have chosen to be there a lot of the time. And what a gift that is to have kids who are so excited about music and so excited about being with you that they would choose to do it extra. So I love that part of my day, and I look forward to those kids coming. And then I think making it as fun as possible while also being as high quality as possible is what kids want to be part of. They want to do excellent things, and they want to shine on big stages. And so as music teachers, what an opportunity we have to push them. And I think it's just really all such a gift. It's my favorite part of the day.
Awesome. Well, I love that you started out with kind of that mindset, that I know when I first started directing a choir, I was so overwhelmed with it. And so there was so much extra to it, and it literally is another full-time job. And I remember kind of having an attitude about it, oh my gosh, now I've taught all day and now I have to run my choir. And that is not a mindset that I have now. But when I was first teaching and, I had young kids at home and I was tired and, all the things, and I really I had this just awful mindset about it. And when you have that awful mindset, then your students are going to feel that, and I remember one time, I overheard a kid being like, she's so mean in choir. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I really didn't feel like I was being mean, but I think the difference in attitude by, because it was after school, and I don't know. That really got me. I was like, oh my gosh. I don't ever want a kid to say, she's so mean, or I just don't like being here.
That's such a common issue for elementary teachers because we are stretched so thin. We're asked to teach 5, sometimes 6 preps, just, classroom alone. We're putting on grade level programs. We're throwing together the national anthem for this assembly and that one, and it can often feel like it's just that one more thing. And then couple that with the fact that, like you said, usually it's after school. Sometimes it's before school. You're just barely getting there. But I think that after school time in particular, we as teachers are so overstimulated. We've had super long days. We know what's waiting on the to-do list for the evening. And then the kids are super overstimulated and they've had a long day. And even if they have made that choice to be part of the choir, not every day are they going to come in and be like, yes, let's do this. You know, they're going to come in at the end of the day in February when it's already getting dark and be like, oh, she's going to make us work hard today. Right. So I feel like that's where, you know, you and I can definitely relate to everybody out in the trenches.
Yes, for sure.
We have been there. It is exhausting and we want to help.
Yeah. And really, like, even though we probably online both look like we have our stuff together, we don't always have our stuff together. Right. Just let's be honest here. We don't. We have those train wreck classes. We have those days where we're like, oh my gosh, I just can't do this today. So, you know, it can look like we have everything together, but it is totally not the case. But the good thing is both of us, I think, have, you know, like you said, been in the trenches, and we've dealt with those students who maybe medicine has worn off by the end of the day, and they're like, oh, and you're like, oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about how you deal with getting your students energized, and what kinds of strategies do you use to really just get them to work hard? Because I know you have little ways of sneaking that hard work in without them really knowing that they're repeating the same thing over and over and over.
Well, I think we're all guilty of saying, well, let's just do that one more time, which is just, it's a lie. It's always more than one more time. But I think just kind of calling back to like having been there and having made the mistakes, I did not used to run my choir like I ran my classroom. And I would just find myself really frustrated that it wasn't going well, you know? Right. And then I'm thinking, well, they're all coming in chaotically. They're putting their stuff everywhere. I don't have a seating chart, you know? And I had to really do some self-reflection of like, right? I don't ever let my classes come in and just go bonkers. There's always bell work. There's always, you know, a clear place for them to be. And I think kids really crave that. They need a place to be and they need a thing to do. And so they're not coming in trying to be naughty, but they're coming in going, I don't know what to do. And so I'm going to create my own chaos, you know? Right. And so what I've found that really works for me is I always have Google Slides up, and you could do PowerPoint, you could do Canva, whatever, you know, your system is. But I just have a whole slide deck for the year that's like one color theme, you know, you don't need to get extra with it. Right. And then I always have a welcome slide with what's the plan to start things out. I've taken the time to do a seating chart, you know, with 70 plus kids. It does take time.
For sure.
It's so important. And then just anywhere I can put in the structure that I would use in my classroom for general music, I'm going to do that because that's what they know. And if they know that part of the day in your music room is going to be expected and clear, that's going to set them up for success, and it's going to set you up for success to be fighting less battles at a time when you are exhausted and overstimulated at the end of the day.
That is such a point that, you know, and you and I talked when we planned our workshop last in January. My gosh, it's like 8 months away at this point. But when we planned that, one of the first things we talked about was that neither of us, because I'm guilty of doing that too, that the kids just came in and they're rowdy and they, like you said, they don't know where to sit. And the whole thing is just, you know, a mess. And then you're expecting them to sit down and be structured and work hard and do all the things. So I love that you pointed that out. So tell us more about like what does a typical rehearsal look like for you? And thank you, by the way, for saying about the slides, because I never did slides in my classroom with my choir. And why not? I mean, how silly was that, you know?
Well, I think we still maybe consider like a visual schedule to be like differentiation for students who are maybe on the autism spectrum or who just kind of need those like visual charts or maybe our primary grades. But I think everybody needs to know what's coming. And so just even if it's not slides, even if it's like a big laminated notepad paper that's like, we always start with the warm up, then we're going to do 2 pieces of music. And this kind of is my structure. We're always going to start with a warm up.
Right.
And then we're going to spend like 7 to 10 minutes on each piece of music as you have time for. And then I always like to tell them, here's my little carrot. At the end, we're going to play a game if we have time. But we have to get through the hard work. And ideally, we'll get there with, 5 minutes left and we can play a little game at the end. But if they have that roadmap in their head and you're not having to recreate the wheel every week to go, what are we going to do today? If you just have that structure, I think that takes so much of the guesswork out of it for everybody. And again, it's so regulating for kids and adults to know what's coming next. So that's kind of my philosophy on that, is always have the same plan and then let them know what that is for the day.
Yeah. And I love that you said always have the same plan, because I don't know, as a creative person, I was always trying to reinvent the wheel. And as I got a little older and I'd been teaching a little longer, I was like, this is stupid. Why am I'm just making it harder on myself, and I'm using like brain work that I don't need to use. And I love that you said that. And I love you said the same color slides, the same, basic process the whole time. And, just inserting the different songs, and I'm sure different warm-ups depending on, what you're doing that day. So how do you add in that fun element? Like, what would you say is something that makes you different as a choir director because you add something fun in that maybe you haven't seen other people do?
Well, I think that considering each rehearsal as both a recruitment and a retention opportunity, like coming at it from a mindset of truly every rehearsal matters. And so what can I put into our plan today that's going to get kids talking about how fun choir is on the way out the door?
Love it.
Whether that's the game we play or the repertoire that we've picked and the funny things we're going to do with the choreography, or like adding little props or things. I think just any little pockets of fun you can find in your day. And then my husband and I call it ending with an exclamation point. Like maybe we end the rehearsal that day without a game, but we're going to like totally lock in this chord and we're going to be like, let's celebrate that. Did we hear that? Wow, you all are amazing. And then they head out the door. So I think just finding those little pockets of fun, those little pockets of celebration, whether it's, putting in a new fun warm up that celebrates the Chiefs home opener, or again, like a game at the end, finding stickers you can hand out as rewards, little inside jokes that you can create as a choir. I mean, just have fun with it and let them be their like funny, hilarious, amazing selves, and then capitalize on that. Like, I do think that is one of my strengths, and I will share this openly. I am ADHD. I can be all over the place. And I think kids like that. Just, where are we going next? We're going to follow this train. And if I'm bored, they're bored. So I think being able to just kind of yes and their childlike energy and wonder is something that really helps me in a rehearsal.
That's amazing. And I love that you went to childlike wonder. And, one of my favorite parts about being an elementary music teacher, like, I don't know if I could do middle school or high school, because I love the the happy faces and the excitement that they bring to it. And, as they get into middle school, they still feel that excitement. They do, but it's like, I'm not sure with that. No.
Which I do take as a personal challenge because I direct the middle school group with the youth chorus of Kansas City. And so I really if I have kind of a grumpy face friend, it's like, it is my personal goal to get you to laugh, whether you are happy about it or not. And I think just leaning into the silliness with any age, I mean, even adults still want to do the fun, silly stuff and act like kids sometimes. And so I think we've probably both experienced teachers who are like, well, my fifth graders would never do that. And
have you tried?
And I present, this a lot of fun and silly stuff. And they're like, oh, well, that would never work with my kids. And I'm like, well, I've taught in a super affluent building and I've taught in a Title I building, and it works both places. I've taught elementary, I've taught middle school. It works both places. I think it's just about following that childlike wonder, about, putting yourself out there and be willing to be the silliest person in the room, the weirdest person in the room, and just creating that safe space for them to play.
I love that you said that too, that, be the silliest person, be the weirdest person in the room. And one of the things that I always enjoyed about teaching is getting to be down and silly with them, because in your adult relationships, you kind of don't do that. And so it's a lot of fun. I remember, teaching with a choir director of the Florida Singing Sons, and to get the kids to slide forward on their chairs and sit up in good posture, he would walk behind their chairs and he would do all this crazy stuff that you'd be like, they didn't know what he was going to do next. And I learned so much from watching him and being like, I want to be that teacher. I want to be that teacher that the kids don't know what you're going to do next. And they love coming to your class because it's fun and it's silly. And, I think that's one of the reasons you and I get along so well, is because we both have that mindset that, you're not there to be there to be the teacher that lays down the law, who wants to be that person, right? So be fun and silly and kind of discover those reasons that they love. They're waiting for you to do something crazy. They really are. And if you show them it's okay as an adult to be crazy, they're going to be like, oh, well, maybe I can do that too,
I absolutely agree. And I think that you're totally right. That is what we have in common. And I think about our workshop where you showed all of your props, and it was just 45 minutes of you being absolutely off the wall, silly. And I know that kids had such a blast with that in your classroom. And I think, especially thinking about those upper elementary and even middle school singers, if you are modeling for them, it's okay to be weird. It's okay to make some loud mistakes. I mean, we high five loud mistakes in my choir. And I always make a point to say, nobody's going to make more mistakes in this classroom than me. I mean, I'm in here all day. You couldn't even count the number of sentences I say, and I'm going to mess up. And that's okay. And then another strategy I use is do it wrong to get it right. So if you have singers who are timid, they don't feel safe yet, and they're under singing, then have them go all the way to the extreme where we're all screaming fortissimo, unhealthy vocal production, and let them experience okay, I actually have a lot of control over my voice, and we've already gone to the extreme. So actually, I know that I can do it here at this level. Mm-hmm. And people are going to hear my voice, and that's okay because they already did. Right. I do that with tone, with rhythms, with diction. Just if you can get them to do it all the way wrong, and then I'm always like, oh, that was terrible. Thank you so much. And then you can dial it back and just showing them you have so much control over your instrument and the choices you can make as a vocalist. And there are no wrong ones as long as we're doing it together, you know?
Yeah. Every time I talk to you, I'm like, I wish I was directing a choir.
I mean,
I miss that about directing a choir. You know, I miss that, the silliness and the bringing out my props and tossing things at children and, you know. safely tossing things at children. So should we tell them about our surprise?
I think we should. Drum roll.
Are you ready? Here we go. So Bethany and I, after the third round of our choir workshop, and people were so excited and interested. And even this year at the Make Music Magic Summit, Bethany's, she was invited to present at a couple different places because, you know, the fact is a lot of people struggle with the challenges of running a choir, with the timing, with the just the overwhelming workload of it, with the, you know, the mindset to try and make sure that you are, you know, teaching the same way you're teaching your students during the classroom day, and picking music and all the things. So we sat down and we decided that we were going to create a summit just for you. And it's called the Choir Tune-Up Summit. And we have almost everything ready for it. It is going to be September 20th and 21st. We have a lot of big surprises that we can't talk about yet, but we are very, very excited about it. We have some just amazing presenters and so many good strategies to share with you. And Bethany and I are both going to present, but then we have, I think, what do we have, like 8 confirmed already, and still inviting some other amazing presenters. And Bethany, what can you say about it? Because I'm sure I'm missing something.
Well, I think it's just going to be such a great opportunity for people to come away at the beginning of the year with a million tips, tricks, plans, rep ideas, technology hacks to take things off your plate. I mean, between all the guests that we have confirmed to present, I am very excited. I mean, it's like kind of my personal wish list of who I want to learn from. And I know there are some expert teachers with amazing choir programs, all across the country. So I think it's going to be so, so beneficial for people kicking off their start of choir for the year.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think you and I are both the most excited about is we are going to do a co-working session. Most of this will be pre-recorded, but we do have a couple of really special live sessions. And one of them is that Bethany and I are going to walk you through a co-working session of planning out your first concert. So that alone is going to be like the coolest thing ever. And can we talk about the reading session?
Yes. I mean, repertoire is one of my happiest places. So that co-working session I am super excited for, because not everybody likes to spend 19 hours on JW Pepper programming their concerts, but I do. So let us help you. And with that, we're going to have a reading session from Endeavor Music Publishing, which is my husband's publishing company, Bethany Main. And he is going to have some awesome elementary pieces for you. And we'll talk quite a bit about just how to find rep that fits the voices you have. And I think Endeavor has some awesome choices for you. So
you'll be able to just, plan out your choir concert and then have all the music picked. I mean, it's going to be those two things alone, I think, are worth coming to this summit. Absolutely. And then some other amazing surprises that, like I said, we can't talk about everything yet. The summit is September 20th and 21st. It's a Saturday and Sunday. Sessions are pre-recorded for the most part with some exclusive live sessions as well. It's going to be run inside the Happy Music Teacher Academy, which I'm super excited about. And the waiting list is open, which is why we are talking about it today. So you can go to thehappymusicteacher.com/waiting list and get on that waiting list so that you are the first to be notified, because there will be a VIP pass option, and anyone who's on the waiting list will get $10 off the lowest price of the VIP pass. So that is a really good thing. You definitely want to get on that waiting list. Thehappymusicteacher.com/waiting list. Anything we've missed, Bethany?
I don't think so. I'm just super excited to get this thing kicked off. It's going to be.
I know. We've been planning for weeks, and we are just. I mean, I can't believe it's already like, oh my gosh, we get to open the waiting list.
And again, this is literally my personal wish list of people to learn from. So I'm going to be sitting in all those sessions, taking all kinds of notes as well. I think it's going to be really beneficial.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to just such a great learning experience. Well, Bethany, I really appreciate you taking your time today to chat with me, and I'm so excited to see all of the people that come into the summit. I have a goal of I want to have 2,000 people sign up for this summit. That is my goal.
That would be amazing. Dream big.
I'm putting it out there right now.
Hey, we're putting it into the universe.
Putting it into the universe.
Thank you for having me. It's always so good to chat with you.
It's so good to see you.
It's going to be a blast. Can't wait.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at www.teachbetterpodcastnetwork.com.
Well, that's all I have for you today. But before I go, I want to remind you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being fabulous you.